What's up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? Healthy Warrior Shane.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Welcome to Wrestling on the Rocks. I am Marsh. We are WOTR, the show. And with me, the other half of the legendary podcasting duo, the IIRonics. Kevlar on the Rocks with an X.
What's up, y'all? How you doing?
Man? What's going on? I decided as long as we're doing this, so we don't have any news, I'd put on the last 10 minutes of Dynamite as it airs in case actual news comes in. So far, everything I can tell, Lio Rush is there, and nothing else notable really took place. A couple of nice moments here and there, but it's just kind of another episode. So, I'll let you know if a big debut happens or something. A lot of rumblings, Kevlar. A lot of rumblings. A few people on the internet saying, well, this show's in Rochester. They're tributing Brody Lee here and there throughout the show. Maybe it's Bray's debut. I really don't know. I mean, it'd be interesting. But the Dark Order already had their segment, and I would think that if you're going to do it, you would do it with the Dark Order. But I don't know. I don't know. And that's why we're here, Kev, because I don't know a damn thing except that I like to drink with my drinking buddies here in the dive bar of the IWC as we figure it all out.
Yep.
How's it going, man?
Are we the dive bar or the basement? I feel like we're just in the basement.
I don't know if there's a difference. I thought a dive bar was a basement bar.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I thought that was the whole thing. So our friend Lisa, friend of the show, Lisa Schner, who gives out all the signs at the WWE events, because she is not far from Rochester, she's at that show, and she brought a bunch of signs, and she was telling me that she was pretty excited. They're going to let her walk around and hand them out and stuff, and they were like super cooperative and thought it was really great.
Nice.
She said that at the beginning of the show, I don't know if it was on air or not, but Justin Roberts over the speaker said thanks to Lisa for handing out all the signs, and the crowd started chanting Lisa. Aww. That's fucking cool.
Nice.
Yeah. It's really cool. How you been, man? How you doing?
Good. I'm still kind of in shock after that clip you sent me of Tony Khan.
Tony Khan rapping? He's got a business.
Yeah.
That's probably why Lio Rush went back, was to learn from Tony Khan how to rap better.
Yeah, no, it's his hype man.
It's his hype man for sure.
Rabbit in Future from 8 Mile.
That's
Mom's spaghetti.
That's everything I know about rap. What do you want?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I like to consider myself a connoisseur of the rap game.
The B-Rabbit rap game, specifically?
Oh, no, I was saying about Tony Khan. That was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
But it was just yelling in the mic at first. And you're like, he's rapping. I was like, yeah.
He's definitely starting to lean into a Vince McMahon voice. Because we've heard him talk. He doesn't talk like that. Just talk like you, dude. Like, why are you trying to have a raspy scream? Like, just be you, man. Like, that's what everyone likes. They like you. Everyone likes you.
Just be yourself.
Yeah, be yourself. Today's International Coffee Day, or just National Coffee Day?
Oh. We don't drink that shit. We drink New Wave, and that's it.
That's a good point. I don't drink Dunkin'. I don't drink Krispy Kreme. I don't drink any of that garbage because I got Flow State Coffee, bitches. International Coffee Day. Newwave.co. NOOWAVE.co. Promo code CHEERS. Pop in that old promo code CHEERS to get 10% off. If they have a sale going on, you can get 10% off of that too. They will do that for you. Guys, Flow State Coffee is specialty grade coffee with L-theanine and rocket cow for productivity and creativity. Better energy, focus, and mood than a regular cup of coffee.
Yeah, tell them how you do today.
While decreasing the negative side effects like anxiety and blood pressure. Yeah, I had to get up way early today because I've started a whole new editing system. redoing the whole Pro Wrestling for Life with Sean X Puck Waltman from the backside, not from what you'll see. You guys will see the same old good front, but up towards the rear in the back end.
Yeah, keep talking about the backside.
Yeah, up in the backside, we're digging in deep. We're getting muddy.
Going hard.
And we're fixing it up. So I got up early to get in the craw right at the break of dawn. I mean, 7:30ish is not far from dawn, right? It's closer to dawn than I usually am.
7:30.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's pretty close to dawn, so far as I can tell. So at the craw of dawn, we got in it.
Oh.
So I had coffee, and I was dying, and within a few minutes, I felt like I had a shitload of energy and clarity of mind and started just knocking stuff out. So much so that I actually asked the producer, I was like, yo, is that new wave you gave me today? Because I feel way different and peppy. And she's like, you're goddamn right, it's new wave. So I can tell when I have it, I can tell when I don't. We don't always have it because you know what? You motherfuckers aren't buying enough new wave for me to get my own bags, so I can't afford it.
You guys can always subscribe as well. That'll help us out.
That's what we have. Subscribe, but unsubscribe, no notification, whatever you got to do. Hit the old tip jar. You guys should go to WrestlingOnRocks.com. There's a donate button. You can just donate to us if you want. Just go straight to our business account.
Yeah.
So
be our sponsors.
Sierra in the chat. Sierra Alligator says they are obsessed with L-theanine. Yo, having L-theanine in my coffee has made a world of difference. I love it. But yeah, we do the subscription. We get it every other month. So it came in, and I was super stoked. But a lot of times we'll finish the coffee bag rum before we move on to the next. So I didn't know when I was going to have it. But
Perfect timing, right, for National Coffee Day.
Yeah, perfect timing for International Coffee Day. And then I got like sugar-free and like totally carb-free pumpkin flavorings. Because I'm basic. I'm a basic bitch. Everyone knows that.
Pumpkin's
when it comes to pumpkin flavoring. I need that pumpkin in my mouth. You know what I mean? I need all of that spice. You know what I mean? So,
Pumpkin's gross. I don't like pumpkin. Nothing.
Okay, well, pumpkin itself is just a gourd. It just tastes like paste. But when you add allspice, that's when it gives you the pumpkin pie flavoring.
Pumpkin pie is gross.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
I love
Seattle
everything
Gator.
about fall. It's hunting season. It's starting to cool down. But pumpkin, just get rid of the goddamn pumpkins.
Oh,
carving them's cool. Pumpkin seeds, cool. Pumpkin flavored everything, gross.
So good. I used to get pumpkin covered almonds.
Ugh.
They were like those, you know, those like yogurt pretzels. They were like that, except pumpkin over almond. So goddamn good. I made myself sick on them. I'll do it again. Sierra Alligator does say you're supposed to take it with coffee, so that's amazing. It comes mixed. I'll have to try it. I didn't realize you're supposed to have that with coffee. That's fantastic. I tried it because the guy who runs it is an independent wrestler trained by Lance Storm, and I thought, well, I mean, for one, I met him back in New York when I lived there, and he was a good dude. And I thought, well, you know, if he's doing a coffee, that supports indie wrestling in my book. I bought myself a bag, didn't even tell him it was me, tried it, loved it so much that I reached out to him and said, hey, you should put your coffee on my show. And he said, you're goddamn right, I will. And then he gave me a promo code to give out to everybody. It was amazing.
When you said that you didn't tell him it was you, for whatever reason, I envisioned you wearing a fake mustache, ordering coffee online.
100%. Whenever I shop online anonymously, I'm wearing a disguise.
Yeah, good. It's the way to do it.
Yeah, it doesn't work otherwise, as far as I can tell. Just in time coming through saying, cheers, IIRonics. It is time to cheers. You know what I don't have yet is a drink. What's in your glass, Kev?
I am drinking Cacti Agave Spiked Seltzer.
That sounds goddamn good.
It's fucking good.
Is it like prickly pear or cacti?
It's agave spiked. Well, they have 3 different flavors. There's lime, strawberry, and pineapple.
Okay.
The pineapple's delicious. It tastes like the pineapple flavored Lifesavers.
Yeah, it does sound really good.
Yeah, made with blue agave. Delicious.
Very good, very good. Guys, take a drink.
What's in your glass?
Definitely technical difficulties. We're going to see if I can't sort this out without having to lose my audio altogether. But we're on the fritz already. Guys, I'm having New Amsterdam vodka with my Koyos Keto Soda.
Did you hit it with a kendo stick? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I open it with a kendo stick. Extreme! Yeah, it's got lion's mane in it. Between lion's mane and L-theanine, my brain is flatlining.
On point.
Baselining? What's the difference? It's a stable brain for the first time since I was like 3.
Even then.
Yeah.
There's
Even
some
then, it's
question.
iffy. There's just no way to know. There's just no record. New Amsterdam vodka, though, way better than Old Amsterdam. It's fresher.
They make some pretty good gin, too.
That's true.
The
They do.
gin and tonic. Pretty good.
Let's see. Jeremy in Time coming through saying cheers to the dive bar. And so is Splinter Fox. He's got a wicked cool Matt Hardy emoji. He says, yes. It's all pixelated. That's really cool. Yeah.
Nice.
Did you want to...
Well, cheers, everyone.
Yeah, cheers. Cheers to all of our drinking buddies for coming on through. Do you want to tell anybody about the news that we heard today?
Ronda Rousey had her baby.
Ronda Rousey had a baby.
Yay.
Baby Rousey.
Congratulations, Ronda.
Rowdy
Baby
baby.
Baby Brown.
Baby Brown.
Matt Brown. Not Matt Brown. Travis Brown.
I'm Matt Brown. I'm a baby. I'm a little
Different
baby Brown. I'm a little baby. Cheers. Cheers to the baby, and we'll see you down the road. I wonder if the baby's going to be a fighter or a farmer. I feel like those are the only 2 options.
I think the baby's got a few options.
All right. Well,
I think Baby Brown and Baby Rollins, WrestleMania 58.
so, Cav, keep the show
What's up?
going. I know. It's not going to stay connected.
So I think that's all we had for news that I can think of.
Oh, I made a noise. What's happening?
You ready to move on to SmackDown?
Why is it up there?
Everybody have a drink. It's not up there. It just says nearby. It's not up there.
See, this is the
Says connected.
Crown Royal water break.
I can hear it. All right. Hey, Cav, you there?
Yes, I'm here still.
All right. All right. Well, okay, that's all I had for news. Did you have anything else for news? Because I got nothing.
No, I already moved on. I'm talking about SmackDown.
Oh, what'd you get in? How far did you get in SmackDown? Just wrapping it up.
Saying that I'm about to talk about SmackDown.
Yeah, here we go. Dude, we'll just talk about the cool stuff that happened in it because we did end up with Extreme Rules to get through as well as Raw, which...
No, we didn't. We had it a pay-per-view. I don't know what it was titled because it was definitely not Extreme.
It was just misnamed. That's all. We'll talk about that,
Yeah,
though.
it was. Yeah, we'll get
Yeah. And Raw was fantastic. I actually ended up watching Raw because I was doing so much editing and I couldn't, like, stay focused on it. I had it playing probably 3 times, maybe 4. And at no point was I like, ugh, I better fast forward through this one. I've seen enough of it. I ended up watching the whole thing every time. It was actually a great episode of Raw. But
nice. They're stepping their game up for the draft.
yeah, they're getting just in time for the draft before they just completely destroy the entire roster and make you not care again. They're just like, let's really...
Yep.
We're right in the swing of things. That's the perfect time to throw a wrench in. Like, now that we figured out the pacing and the stories and the characters, let's just go ahead and just shuffle it all up.
Yeah. Now that we figured out our hand,
Yeah.
shuffle the deck and start over.
Yeah, like someone playing poker, they have like, you know, a full flush, and then they look at it and they're like, I'm just gonna need to get a new hand. So
I'm going for the 4 of a kind.
Yeah.
I can do better than this.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, a lot of the SmackDown talent has been on Raw, so I think the coincidence is.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it all plays
at
out.
all.
It should be good. It should be good. I'm looking forward to it. I do think it. I mean, for a while there, a lot of it was feeling stale enough, and I think we're at a point now where there is a lot of question of like who next for a lot of stories and where do we go from here. So it's probably a good time for it.
Yeah.
A couple things to happen. Go ahead.
I was just randomly thinking, do you think they throw Roman on Raw?
I don't.
So that they can. I was just thinking, just as a marketing thing, so that they can bring back the red Universal title because he's been wearing a lot of red lately.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Is that he's wearing a lot of red so much it makes me think that there's a possibility he's going to Raw. I just think that he's the number one guy, and SmackDown is their number one rated show. Like, why would you move him? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
But I guess if you're trying to get eyes on Raw, he's the way to do it. And I guess when you think about it, SmackDown is, in and of itself has been strong outside of the Roman stuff, so maybe it could be okay. I don't know. It's hard to say, but I don't think my gut tells me he stays on SmackDown because that's their main show.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Let's see. Shinsuke and Apollo had a cool match. Bianca had their moment. I'm just trying to see what we had in here that was like super notable. Seth Rollins had a crazy promo.
Angelo Dawkins wasn't there.
There was no
Tess
Dawkins.
Ford I was able to watch.
Yeah.
Found out he has talent.
Well, let's talk about that in a second. Zelina and Liv Morgan had their match, and I was happy with that one. I thought it was pretty solid.
Yeah.
Zelina's just so
won,
small. Right? Yeah, Zelina won. It was her first win in like over a year and a half.
Nice.
She hadn't won a match. She didn't win a match on her way out of the company when she left before, and she hadn't won a single one since she'd come back. So it's her first win. There was some tomfoolery, but it was a good match.
Hey,
the thing I just don't like them doing is every time someone picks up and throws Zelina or slams her, they go, just the sheer power. And I'm like, no. She's the one person you can't say that with.
Yeah. I met her at a meet and greet, and I coughed, and she fell out of her chair.
Dude, I was backstage once, and I saw her, and I thought a kid was back there by herself.
Mm-hmm.
I even looked towards someone, and I was like, who's baby?
Somebody.
Like, I was looking around, and then she turned around and went, oh, shit.
Somebody get a hold of your child.
Yeah. Watch out, this child's with Lana.
I wonder if, what's his name now, Mordecai? I wonder if he has one of those, like, little children, like, leashes when they go out.
A little harness. That could be good. You don't want to get her lost.
Yeah.
Producer lady has something she wants to read. She's really antsy about it. We better let her have it.
It's the producer moment, or minute.
Oh, my God. What is it? Just what? You're just saying you don't have your mic on even.
Hello.
I'm here.
Oh,
Okay,
so listener, first time caller.
Dave Bautista, you've heard of him. He's offering a $5,000 reward to find the quote sick piece of shit who abused a rescue puppy in Florida. So he found a 3-month-old pit bull, who was like in a cemetery eating trash and suffering from I don't know, some chain in the neck, and the actor adopted the dog and is offering a reward. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it had a chain embedded in its neck, like it was on there too tight, and yeah, the dog's a cute little dog. Yeah.
$5,000, get on it, internet wrestling community.
But there's a lot of sick pieces of shit in Florida, so I don't think you can narrow it down.
It's gonna be tough, yeah.
Well, if you're in Florida and you know of one or you know anything, hey, $5,000, man.
Yeah, $5,000 is $5,000.
Marsh, turn your mom in. Tell her it was her.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's an easy one. Easy $5,000. Yeah, she's in Florida. Yeah.
Hey Dave, I know who it is.
Yeah. You know how many empty birthday cards I've gotten? I'm just trying to cash out, man.
The 5Gs will make up for it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just trying to balance that shit out.
I'm just kidding.
Let's
Only
see.
Jokes here.
Carmela was out there. Actually, Carmela's been so fucking funny, dude. She's been so good. Her whole back and forth with Pat McAfee with Michael Cole is awesome.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like is, she keeps getting hit in the face and she doesn't care. After it was such a big deal before.
She cares.
What do you mean? She had a whole thing about it, about how Liv tried to make her a 5.
No, I know, but since then, she's taken bumps and stuff like that, and you would think they'd play into that more, because I love that segment, and I want her to do the old school, like, hey, time out, pull out a mirror, make sure she's good, and then
that'd be funny.
Continue.
Yeah. Let's see. Other notable things before we get into Extreme Rules. Riddick Moss came back.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's back. He's with Happy Corbin. I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's how they end it. Fucking garbage.
I think because I'm not gonna be here for probably 2 weeks.
Yeah.
This is my go home show, if you will.
Yeah, as you go home.
I think they're gonna make a tag team and go to Raw because Raw needs some tag teams.
Yeah, I don't think I'd have any problem with that. I think they probably work really well together. Corbin's so good, he doesn't need to be around a singles title right now, and he can get there eventually. You know what I mean? Yeah,
it's weird because as soon as I saw him, I was like, "Yo, that's like a natural fit." They just looked the part immediately. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it worked right away. As soon as they brought him in, I was like, "Who the fuck?" And they said it's Riddick Moss, and I was like, "Who the fuck?" And then it occurred to me, I remembered him all of a sudden. I was like, "Oh, the 24/7 champion." Nice to see him moving through
from Raw Underground.
Yeah, from Raw Underground. It's pretty good.
I almost said Digital Underground. I was like, "Oh." Not the Humpty Dance.
From your... Yeah, dude. Let's see. So Kevin Owens got jumped. I don't know what they're doing with Kevin Owens, man. I wonder. I feel like he's at any moment believably in the main title picture, and they just kind of have him floating around. I just don't know.
Yeah. It's so weird because they... Like when McAfee had COVID... They brought in KO, and you're like, all right, cool. And then it lasted one episode. And then, they just keep him around just to say, hey, we have him, type of thing.
It almost feels like that sometimes. But it's like, he's good to go for anything they need done, and he can do it all.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we have 20 minutes to fill. Give a microphone to Kevin Owens and just have him get somebody over. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's incredible. I'm hoping that the draft makes a big shift with him.
Yeah. I read an article, and there was 10 people who should, switch during the draft, and he was one of them. And I was like, yeah, I think so, 100%.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I think the stuff he's doing with Corbin's all well and good, but on the other side of it, I don't really know what we're doing. And like I said, but Corbin could do a singles thing too.
Yeah. See, I just don't think, with KO and Corbin, to me, it's just KO pushing Corbin's character.
Yeah.
It's not like a back and forth type of thing. It's like, all right, but.
Yeah, that's true. And, I mean, we've talked about it before. The SmackDown Universal title picture is so cramped. I mean, in the past couple months, it's been, Cena, Roman, obviously, Balor, Brock Lesnar. I mean, we just had a match with Montez Ford, but fuck, there was somebody in between there, too. There was 5 people in that conversation. Well, I mean, Big E was floating about there for a bit.
Yeah, well, then, Seth and Edge wanted it, but didn't get it, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just kind of crammed where it's like there's not a lot of space for a Corbin or a KO, but with Big E being world champion over on Raw, if he stays on Raw, having a Kevin Owens and a Corbin over there to try to thwart the good guy Big E, that could go really well.
Yeah. Well, especially, since Big E and KO have a past, a history. I think that would be great. Even though Big E's on SmackDown, I'm just saying.
No, he's on Raw.
There's 2 titles on one brand. Nope, there's 2 titles on one brand.
It's just not the case.
It is, but it is.
She
The
said
draft
if he
will
lost the
clear
title,
up.
he would just be back on SmackDown. If he lost the title,
Yeah.
he would just show up
Yeah.
on SmackDown again and be like, sorry guys.
It's the wild card rule.
Let's see. Nikki versus Natalya. That was actually a really good match. Nikki and Natalya.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. And then Nox and Shotzi comes out. I like when they come out too. Michael Cole says, this team seems to think that they have a claim to the title.
Yeah.
It's like, why might that be, Michael Cole? Is it the 3 number 1 contender matches they keep winning?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was funny. So when Shotzi shot the cannon, did it hit the rope?
I didn't see it at all. The camera stayed on Shotzi. The missile just left the shot.
I rewound it like 5 times. I'm like looking close, like trying to pause frame by frame. And it's weird because it's shot and then they switch cameras and then it's up in the air. So I think it hit the top rope.
Oh.
So
I didn't see where it went at all. Like I felt like the missile was shot and then it cuts to the ring and it was gone. And I was like, okay, so did it clear it? Like, fuck.
Well, that's when McAfee's like, oh, they shot it out of the arena. You know,
that's funny. McAfee's so good.
Yeah, and I love just randomly about McAfee. I love how he like toes the line between the face and heel commentator, and he flip flops back and forth. And I think because we've seen it in the past, and it just was like, ugh. But I think with him, just his comedic timing is just perfect.
Yes.
And like I think he's the only one that can do it.
I agree. He reminds me so much of like Bobby Heenan funny. Like the liners that he gets out. We end up listening to the commentary because we're laughing so much, like we used to do in WCW back when Heenan was there.
Well, even WWF with the big F. You
yeah.
know,
I felt like he really was funnier to me, probably just because of my age. He was funnier to me in WCW because I probably understood more what he was talking about.
It wasn't your age, because we're the same age. It was a time you got into wrestling.
It's probably my age.
But, you know, because to me, I agree with you 100%. I think McAfee's the closest thing that we've had to Heenan since Heenan.
Yeah.
But I think McAfee has a different element that Heenan didn't, and where he could be the face at the same time.
Yes. And McAfee comes off more like a fan than any commentator we've ever had because a lot of the heel-face dynamic of the commentators are so rigid that it's not believable.
Yeah.
Like Corey Graves is very rigid heel. So no matter what the heel does, he says this is brilliant, this is fantastic. No matter what the babyface does, the babyface is wrong, which I get it and it's fine. And Heenan did the same thing. But McAfee seems to have his favorites, which are sometimes heel, sometimes babyface, and he supports them accordingly.
Yeah, well, I think McAfee supports everyone.
Yes,
you know
that's true.
And
he's a little two-faced in that way, which is nice.
No, 100%. Like, it's like, hey, don't do that, but do this, you know. But it just works because, kind of like Bailey, I feel like it's like, hey, he's one of us.
Yes.
You know, but with Corey's towed the line a couple times with the face because 90% of the time he's heel commentator, but you know, he's gone face a few times and it just doesn't feel natural.
Yeah.
It's like Seth as a face. It's just not natural. Don't do it. Do what you're good at.
Yeah. No, for sure. I agree with that.
But
it's funny that you say that Bailey's one of us. Dude, I met up with some friends from Alaska in Phoenix, and when I was out there, the dude, my friend's husband, was like, I've been watching a lot more wrestling lately. He's like, I've been watching a ton of WWE. He said that he's flipped into AEW and turned it off pretty readily, so we're already on the same page. He was asking a little about the ratings thing. He goes, is it true AEW has been beating Raw in the ratings? And I was like, no, it won demos twice, and it didn't matter even, and they were very, very close. But yeah, it's not the ratings thing. I was like, plus, why are you reading about ratings? And like,
well,
he was.
Go ahead. No. I'm gonna have a thing about the ratings in a second, but go ahead on your buddies.
Yeah, but he was telling me, he was all like, he said he's been watching a lot of old Stone Cold stuff and been listening to the Stone Cold's podcast and watching the Broken Skull sessions. And he goes, there was this one girl in there. He's like, I can't remember her name. He's like, there was a woman though, and she reminded me of you with how big of a fan she was, how much she loved it, the way she was talking about wrestling. He's like, she reminded me of you so much. And I was all like, on Broken Skull? And he goes, yeah. And I was like, is it Bailey? And he was all like, yes, it's Bailey. And I was all like, oh shit.
Marsh is over there blushing like, gee,
Yeah.
that's the biggest compliment I've ever got.
Oh, I can't believe you noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Splinterfox says that eye roll only a WWE fanboy would make. Yeah, dude. No, I don't pretend I don't have a bias. You know that. You know, Splinterfox, more than any of us, that I am fully aware I have a bias, and I do not pretend otherwise. So, yeah, no, you call me on that one. What were you going to say about the ratings, though?
Well, see, this is the thing that gets me with the ratings, especially right now, is, everyone talks about ratings head to head, and they're not on the same night. Because of that, you have to look on, what's, the programming that goes on from other stations on that night. Because the WWE's regularly, every year for the past, 30 years, from, September till January, they go against the NFL on Monday nights.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
And I'm a big football fan. If the Cardinals are playing on Monday night, I'm watching the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Because especially nowadays, I'm like, I can watch Raw later.
Yeah. And it's not to say those conversations aren't interesting in and of themselves, and I think WrestleNomics is a podcast that does a great job of actually communicating that. Brandon Thurston was just actually a guest on the Pro Wrestling for Life podcast, so you can check it out there. They break down kind of the relevancy of all that as well. And they, even while they're live on the air or while they're live recording, they get the Raw ratings in, and he kind of breaks it down and gives a quick analysis of it. And one of the things that he notes is that Raw was number 7 in cable, but all 6 preceding shows were on ESPN, and they were Monday Night Football or Monday Night Football related. And he goes, and that's pretty much what you expect. They're the number 1 show that's not football.
Yeah, and if it was this week, the Monday night game was the Eagles versus the Cowboys, which the Cowboys is a huge draw.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, but I mean, it is relevant. It is relevant to the conversation, and a lot of people just don't take that into account. And I saw some other people talking about it too, that 2 shows that are not even on the same night can't be compared in ratings because of that way. But I mean, probably come January, February, I guess the conversation would become a lot more interesting because, the WWE would have a little bit less head-to-head with the Monday Night Football. But it does complicate things. It does make it interesting.
Yeah, but
yeah.
But AEW goes up against Masked Singer.
Well, Masked Singer is pretty good.
So AEW's got a little mountain to climb there too.
That's actually true. Masked Singer is ridiculously popular.
Just kidding. No one watches Masked Singer. Fuck that show.
Yeah, not anymore. Let's see.
Anyway.
Fox says, no wrestling. WWE is not just all wrestling. So fanboys don't know everything unless that person wrestles in WWE. Their protected little bubble. I don't know what you mean. We're talking about ratings and I don't know. We're talking about football. He does say fuck football, so I understand that one.
Whoa.
And he says, how about
American
the
football
Wildcats?
or European football?
No, he didn't say kickball, Kev. He said football, so
No.
it's American.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah, European kickball and American football. He does say, how about them Wildcats? Ducks whoop that ass, he says.
Hey, you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it.
Oh, and he clarifies. He said football, not football. Football.
But you know what's crazy? And if we're playing these cards real quick, Arizona has some shitty ass football teams.
Yeah.
But we kind of regularly beat Oregon when they're highly ranked.
That happens, though. I can't remember some of the other ones, but I've seen that example where it's Like, I want to say the Dolphins beat this one team every year, so much so that they'll lose every single game a year, but win the one.
The one, yeah. I mean,
Like,
you know,
I've seen, like, that kind of shit happens. It's crazy.
yeah. But for whatever reason, when Oregon's highly ranked and Arizona's nothing,
Yeah.
we win a lot of the times. And I'm like, I was joking with a buddy, and I was like, hey, you know, because Arizona hasn't won a game in like 2 years. Like, we're like Kurt Hawkins. We're Kurt Hawkins bad right now.
So good, dude. You guys got a streak going. Don't break it.
Yeah. And like literally, we have the longest losing streak of all FBS teams right now.
No.
And
They should make a shirt.
Oregon's ranked number 3. We just lost to NAU, and it's like, geez, like, god damn it. And we hung tough for a minute.
You guys like lose to Pima Community College.
Yeah, like pretty much. Sabino High School could beat this Arizona team.
So good, dude. U of A's Bad News Browns is what happened.
Yeah, but there's not a happy ending at the end of this movie.
They eventually win one, goddammit.
Yeah.
How long is this fucking series?
Ball. We're going to the ball. We're going to the toilet bowl, baby.
Yeah. So good. He does say
And
number
Splinter
3.
Fox,
Go ahead.
just to throw this out there, duck season's coming up, and planning on putting a few of those motherfuckers in my freezer.
Yeah, just because you get those fucking little mini helmets, dude, and then when you hang up the ducks, put a little fucking mini helmet on it.
Right? Quack, quack, motherfucker.
So good. Well, let's wrap up on SmackDown. 2 other segments that I did want to mention. Obviously, we'll get to the main event, but right before that, Naomi came out. Naomi had her whole entrance. She cut a promo. She went back and forth with Sonya. I really liked this segment, dude. I really liked both of them on the mic. I love Sonya getting all the boos and getting totally fucking bitchy with Naomi. It was so good. So much so that on Raw, Sonya makes another comment about Naomi. We're going to get that Sonya Naomi match, and I'm really excited about it. 'Cause I think we're going to get there without the bloodline involvement, which is cool.
Yeah. And somebody called it day one on that ish.
Is that a day one-ish joke?
Yeah.
Damn. See.
No, but like,
Damn. See. But,
you know, we were talking about it, and we're like, hey, this is going to happen. It's going to happen.
yeah.
Sonya's going to get in the ring. Does she wear her old gear, or does she show up in a suit?
I mean, I don't think she'll show up in a suit. I don't think she's going to pull that, but I wonder if she's going to have a new style gear or not. She probably would. I think she's going to have a new look altogether. Yeah. That's my bet.
But we want this. Like, I'm for it. Let's do it.
Oh, yeah. I love it. And I love that this is a storytelling between 2 women on the roster that doesn't involve any of the titles. It's a one-on-one thing. It's just a good story moving forward. And they're getting a little bit of TV time each week. And it also goes to show you don't need a ton of time to get something over, to get something moving, to get people invested even, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, excuse me, you know, we've talked about the mid-card in the women's division, and it, you know, for years it was non-existent, and it's kind of showed up here and there, this and that. But most of the time that I can recall, it's also been involved around a male superstar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether it's a love interest or not. This one's just 2 women, mid-card, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I'm all
they're
for
fighting about wanting to fight. This is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good stuff. It is good stuff. Let's
You
see.
should put
Splinter
him in a
Fox is
cage.
freaking out about Sammy Guevara winning the TNT title. I saw the end of it. I mean, not only was the match sloppy, it was just kind of stupid. I don't give a shit about Sammy. But he was excited because Bobby Fish is going to be going against Sammy next week for the TNT title match. I just want to let Splinter Fox know that Bobby Fish is the Ahmed Johnson of NXT, so enjoy the match and then enjoy 6 months without Bobby Fish because that dude gets hurt in every match he has. So
Stop.
what?
His knees will hold up.
No, he's got like powder knees, dude. I think his shoulder and his elbow went out at different times too. Dude's like Tin Man.
But he's got heart, or he's looking for heart.
No, he's got a mustache.
The Tin Man didn't have a mustache.
In Return to Oz, he did. The second one.
No one watched that shit.
Yeah, he had a little mustache. That's pretty good.
But I like Bobby Fish.
I do too. I've got like 4 of his autographs. I don't know what the fuck to do with
I
them.
know. I was gonna say. I still want one of them joints.
You want one? You want a Bobby Fish autograph?
Yeah, the fish market.
The fish market for sure. Let's see. Then we did have Roman Reigns versus Montez Ford.
Yeah.
What do you want to say about all this?
I mean, I'm glad they got to showcase Montez. It was weird because, leading into Extreme Rules, I don't know if you watched the kickoff show. Yeah. But there was that weird backstage segment where they were like, Montez was like angry at Dawkins for going to his friend's wedding.
Oh, I didn't see that part. I saw it was on, but I didn't turn the audio up until the match started.
It was so weird because Montez is talking and he's looking in like an opposite direction, but he's talking directly to Dawkins, and he's like, "Just let me know now if you don't have my back because we can move on from here," and blah blah blah. And it was like, "Whoa, there's some tension, some divide there."
Yeah, and
then it played out to nothing, and it led me to believe that I'm throwing it out there. It might be a long shot gamble, but I think they're going to break him up in the draft.
I think so too. That's my gut after seeing this too, because Montez did better on his own than he does with Dawkins. And the irony of that is that in all the Street Profits matches, they try to give the hot tag to Dawkins like he's the
bigger guy.
Yeah. He's bigger, but he's like slower and more flatulent, and everything he does looks like a kid on a trampoline. I did a watch along with Bishop from TW Takes, Terrible Wrestling Takes Podcast, twtakes.com/TWTs.
I'll give them a shout out. They're not in the chat.
Well, promo code Dive Bar. If you guys want to go, it's like 25% off, and already like $10 shirts, dude. Like, fuck, you spend like $6, and he'll throw in extra shit, man. I'm just saying, like, if you want like to support a Delaware-based podcast, it's not a bad place to start. But
the great state of Delaware.
Yeah. He was saying during the watch along, if you check out the buyback, it's not in our podcast, so you have to go to our archives, which is our YouTube. Put the I and subscribe and the no notifications on our YouTube. We're really close to getting that 100 mark, so we can change the URL. So you can go to wrestlingontherocks.com for all of our links. But we're in there. He said that he really liked the Street Profits because he said he felt like they were like athletes who wrestled, like it was like the opposite of like wrestlers doing wrestling thing. It was like basketball players using basketball moves in wrestling.
So like The Rock, because The Rock was an athlete, and they said, hey,
I would say
wrestle.
closer to Kevin Green, because Kevin Green would do like the 3-point stance and then spear a guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because he was talking about how Dawkins would do like the 360 dunk, but it was on the guy in the corner. And I was like, but he doesn't get any air or momentum. It just looks weird. But
yeah,
I never got that impression. So go ahead.
Yeah, that's the way Homer dunks his donuts.
That's
what it reminds me of.
Dude, it reminds me of you on a trampoline when you were 12. Just like, look, I could do a rotation.
I got air.
On a trampoline.
I'm willing to bet I have a better vertical than Dawkins now.
100%. I wouldn't doubt that for a second. Maybe I should say like me on a trampoline when you would do a front flip and then I would do a twirl. Because I didn't ever flip.
Look at me.
Yeah. Well, I could do this. Whoa! And then you'd be like, you fat piece of shit. I'm like, yeah. I'm going to go raid your fridge again. Take a fudgesicle. What are you going to do about it?
Fudgesicle and Fruity Tooties.
Fruity Tooties. But, I mean, so I think that Ford had a really good time to shine here. A really good chance to have a great match with Roman. And it was actually really good. I mean, there's a good part of this match that Roman was just beating the shit out of Montez. But Montez looked good in the stuff he was doing. And so watching this, as I'm watching, I was all like, oh, It's the last we see of Dawkins. Dawkins going to chase that 24/7 title for 3 months and then fucking be on his way.
To AEW.
I don't know if AEW would take him. They just got Leo Rush.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this is Dawkins is the Tucker here without going to ASU.
Yeah. 100%.
And
do you think Tucker and Dawkins show up in AEW as the leftovers? Like that'd be their name?
Leftovers?
Yeah.
It'd be pretty cool if they did.
Yeah.
I mean, we've discussed it in the past where, because I said a similar thing about Dawkins playing basketball. And then you're like, did he actually play basketball or is he just doing basketball moves in the ring? And I was like, yeah, he's kind of just doing the moves in the ring.
Yeah.
He's one Kobe or Jordan shot away from becoming MVP.
Yeah.
Without being talented.
Yeah, without having that same level of athleticism. He reminds me of a type of dude who buys the jerseys and wears the shorts and has socks and flip-flops, but he'll even carry the ball, but he's not going to.
The jersey?
Yeah, he wears the undershirt under and he sits on the ball on the side and he's not regularly going. Like that's just what it comes off as, and
has the sweatbands. He does wear those double sweatbands for no fucking reason.
For no reason, dude. He doesn't even sweat half as much as Bobby Lashley, and Bobby Lashley gave it up.
2000 Nelly's calling and said, hey, you need to go out to Air Force Ones or get rid of those headbands.
Yeah, that'd be good. But yeah. And then Finn Balor comes out as the demon, fucks around. He stands on the post, the LED post, and dives on everyone, and that turned out to be great foreshadowing for the later.
Mm-hmm.
Which we all didn't catch at the time. But, I mean, I think we talked about it a little bit. Matter of fact, during the watch-along, when we get to that part of the main event, Bishop at one point goes, oh my God, is he going to go on the top of the LED post and do the coup de grace off of there? And then the big spot happened, and I was like, well, he should have.
Yeah. Nope.
But
Finn's got to shed a few pounds to do that spot.
I guess so.
He's clearly too big. Sorry.
Anything else in SmackDown before we talk Extreme Rules?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah. Yep. The kickoff show, though, did have Carmela versus Liv Morgan. What did you think of that match?
Yes. I was good.
I liked it a lot, man. I thought they had really good chemistry together. I loved Carmela's promo beforehand. She's obnoxious as fuck, and it works.
The only thing that got me is I feel like this should have been on the main card.
Yes.
Because I think going forward, this is going to be a storyline.
Yeah.
And, and once again, just the women's main card is like so solid here.
Yeah, exactly.
And, I think they needed to showcase it a little bit more than the kickoff.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily saying, first match because you want the first match to be a banger, but a bridge match, I think this would have been great.
Yeah, I would even say that the first match they had was actually New Day versus Bobby Lashley, AJ, and Omos, and that match was thrown together during the kickoff. I'd almost rather that match was on the kickoff and this was on the main show. Because, I mean, we had the crowd was even chanting at one point, this is awesome.
Yeah.
They were really into this match.
Out of the matches on the pay-per-view card that I can think of right now, I think, yes, this one probably should have been on the kickoff, but you're not going to throw the WWE champion on kickoff.
I know. That's the only thing about it. But it was kind of like a thrown-together match, so much so that I was like, why the fuck is that match even happening? And Gabe Lunar, he hit me up and he asked me if he should watch the whole thing, and I was like, well, at least watch these 3 matches. And I realized that one of them was this one that was on the kickoff, so I was like, well, watch this one and then these other 2 matches, because a lot of their stuff was like fine, but I mean, you could have put the U.S. title on this one too, because it wasn't like so much happened on it, and it was so superb. Like this was one that, but at the same time, they did the right thing. You end up on the kickoff show, and you get people talking about how you shouldn't have been on the kickoff show. That's 100% the goal.
Exactly, and that's what you want from a kickoff show. You want them to say, "Hey, this should be higher up," and hey, both women performed. You did your job great.
Yeah, you did your job so well. We're trying to figure out if we should take the WWE champion off the card. That's how good they did.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, like I said, you did your job. I don't want to say future considerations, but moving forward, hey, we have more faith in you than we probably did before. Yeah,
I mean, it's what happened with New Day and Usos. They were on kickoff show over and over again until ultimately they were like considered match of the night on like a SummerSlam or some shit.
On a kickoff.
And it was on a kickoff, yeah. And everyone's talking about that match. They're like, yeah, that match was the best match of the night, and it was on a fucking kickoff. So they never ended up on a kickoff again. So I think they did 100% the right thing here, and they killed it. Their chemistry was so good, and Liv Morgan has had a hard time from time to time making her finisher look like not forced. It was seamless here. It was so good.
Yeah, but see, that's the one thing I don't like about her finisher is it's such a spot. Like it's we talked about the lunatic lariat with Dean Ambrose in the past, and it feels like it needs to be something else.
Yeah, this could be the kind of thing that you hit when it happens.
Yeah, like, oh shit, here we go. I know what to do here. Boom, hit it. Cool. But she needs a legit finisher.
Yeah, something you can do in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That shouldn't be a finisher. It should be a signature.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or it should be one of those finishers you don't see often. Like how Roman does the guillotine sometimes.
Yeah.
Because he's in a match where he just can't win with punching. Like, this should be one of those ones where when she pulls it off, it's fucking killer. But she can't always pull it off, so she's got to have something else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hey, the opportunity was there. I took it. I know how to do, handle that situation. Cool. Done. Over. But yeah.
Yeah, and like even earlier in the match, she went for it and failed at it, and that should happen. Most matches she should try it and not succeed in it, and then when she hits it, it should be a big deal.
Yeah, it would add so much, completely different level to her game if that was the case.
Yeah,
where she goes for it, misses it. Cool, I saw the opportunity, didn't connect. Finished it with, I don't want to say a super kick, but whatever, something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Something. Let's see. But overall, I thought it was awesome. All of it. The storytelling. Carmela is so underrated. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, if I have to think of it, underrated women superstars right now, I think it easily is Carmela and Naomi, just because she's not in a spot at all for the past year.
Yeah, definitely
Her
underrated.
husband gets a DUI and she doesn't show up on TV. It's weird.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
Sorry. There you go. It did open up with the 6-man tag, New Day versus Lashley, AJ, and Omos. I don't have much to say about it other than it was a decent match, but I wasn't invested because it was just tossed together. And the whole time I was watching it, like, I understood why we had AJ and Omos, but I kept wondering, like, why couldn't it just be the Hurt Business? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the Hurt Business wasn't together at the time. Now they're together.
Yeah, but that was my argument. Was like, well, couldn't Bobby have just gone over to the guys and just said, "Hey guys, can we bury the hatchet? I really need your help. I'm going up against a numbers game here." And couldn't they just say like, "Yeah, fuck it, why not?" Like, I feel like it wouldn't have taken much. Instead of having a weird breakdown in the back, a weird fight that didn't make sense, you could have just had a clip of Bobby talking to them, and then all three of them jump New Day. You know what I mean?
But that, jumping to Raw, that look that Cedric gave to Bobby, that like, yeah, we back. I was like, holy shit, that was solid. Like, that was such a pinpoint, like, I'm glad the camera's pointing to him for that. Like, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
But we need
But
factions, god damn it.
I don't have anything else to say about that match, though, did you?
No, it was what you expect. It happened, and that was it. And that's why, it should have been on the kickoff.
Yeah. And I don't feel bad saying that this was a pretty underwhelming match in a lot of regards. Like, this was probably my most throwaway match where I was like, yeah, it was what it was. And everyone in there is incredible.
Yes. We're not taking anything away from the talent. All 6 men in that match are amazing. And they could put on 5-star matches, if you tell them to. Just like, hey, do this right now. Cool. They'll do it. But there was no story. There was no build-up. It was just, hey, let's get a quick filler match, and we can showcase the WWE champion. Cool.
Yeah, it felt like 6 incredible talent in a match for no reason. And so it was just, I just wasn't into it. I wasn't invested in it. But at the same time, I don't feel totally bad because all 6 of those guys got to really fucking shine on Raw. Raw was fantastic because of those 6 guys specifically. So, we did have SmackDown Tag Team Championship, Usos defeating the Street Profits. What'd you think of it?
I don't want to say Dawkins brought it down, but he kind of brought it down. Like, it was a decent match. One of the things that Montez does frequently, and it obviously was like showcased here, was him getting hurt on the. Is it a frog splash that he does? I forget what he does.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, and the ribs are heavily taped, and to me, it's one of those adapt and overcome. If your ribs are hurt, don't do that.
Yeah.
Makes you look stupid.
Yeah, I thought Montez looked like an idiot here. I also thought Montez has never had a rib injury. Because the way that he was moving and forgetting his ribs were supposed to be hurt and then going back to it, like, it was just this no sell of the ribs. Yeah. I've never liked taped ribs, and I don't like when they sell the rib injury because so many people don't do it right. Like, if anyone's had a rib injury, you watch it and it looks dumb.
Yeah. But it's so hard because if you actually have a rib injury, you're not taping it.
Yeah. That's what I mean. That's the first thing that bothers me.
Just like the solar plexus. There's no fucking body part called the solar plexus. As much as everyone wants to believe it, I'll never, I told you before that at work, a surgeon, we were talking during his surgery, and for whatever reason, it came up about the solar plexus. And he came out and he's like, for all my years in medical school, that's the one body part I could never tell you where it's at.
That's funny.
And I'm like,
well, it was slang. Yeah. It was slang medical.
yeah, exactly. But I just, whatever. Anyways, moving on. Let's go.
Yeah. We did get the Raw Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair versus Alexa Bliss. I thought the match was pretty solid, and I even felt like the aftermatch stuff could have just been a couple minutes shorter, and it was fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just was a little long for nothing to happen at the end of it.
Yeah. It was long. You kept expecting something, and then Alexa shows that she has the Alka-Seltzer tab on her tongue when she's supposed to be foaming at the mouth.
Yeah.
And it was like, ugh. Chew it. Just, don't put it on your tongue. But
yeah.
It's so weird and so hard when Charlotte's turning into Brock Lesnar like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Where when she wants to work, it's great. When she thinks there's a stupid spot and it's not worth her time, it's fucking obvious.
Yes.
And this whole time during this match, I'm sitting there and I'm like, please, just, you're supposed to perform, make people believe, just basically just do your fucking job.
Yeah.
And it was, once again, Charlotte thinking she's bigger than the spot than she's in.
Yes.
And as much as I wanted to, I wanted Alexa to win just because Charlotte gets on my nerves.
Yeah.
But this was pretty bad.
I thought Alexa did pretty solid, and I thought a lot of her work was great.
Yes, and by bad I mean, once again, like Brock from 4 years ago. When he wants to work, he'll work, and he'll make anyone look good. When he doesn't, he's just there to collect the paycheck. That's what it felt like from Charlotte. I think Alexa did her spots outside of not putting the Alka-Seltzer tab underneath her tongue so she can foam at the mouth. I think Alexa did great.
Yeah. Her breakdown with Lily being ripped up, I thought was a really good job. It just went on long. Like, if it was like 2 minutes shorter, I'd have been like fucking crazy good. But there was a while where it was like, it was going on so long that you started thinking there has to be something else. Like, why would you keep going if there wasn't something else?
Yeah. And then as soon as it happened, because, now I saw internet rumors like, oh, they're giving Alexa a break, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, well, why fucking Charlotte?
That was my other thing. If you're going to give if you're going to give Alexa the break, and if you're actually going to get rid of the Lily doll, why has it got to be Charlotte? There's so many other people that could have gone to.
Yeah. And look at Nia. I realized she got her arm broken last week, but you held that off a week because the storyline didn't need to go through Extreme Rules, or the Rules pay-per-view that I like to call it. Have Nia do it. This is not you. Stop. Where's
you could
my
even
friend?
had Shayna do it. Because remember Shayna had that whole fucking weird experience with the doll?
Yeah.
They got Shayna going on a fucking tear right now. She could have gone out there and ripped the doll in half and said, "You're lucky I don't break your arm."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would have been great. But to me, this is one of those spots where once again, from an outsider looking in, I'm looking at Charlotte saying, walking up to Vince or whoever and saying, I want to take the doll out. Yeah. This has been a hot commodity. If this break, like I said, from what I saw, Alexa's going to be off TV for a minute, which is fine. I see Charlotte saying, oh, I want to do it. Well, why? Once again, there's no history. There's no nothing. It's just Charlotte trying to be bigger than her britches.
Yeah. Yeah, I even was getting to the point where it was like, because we don't know contracts and we don't speculate on contracts much at all, but I mean, it's not impossible to think that they wouldn't release someone and re-sign them under a different contract verbiage. You know what I mean?
Well,
like, it's what they did with Samoa Joe. Like, they can do it, But
Samoa Joe and Jackson Riker. I heard that he got released and then he was on TV on Monday.
Yeah. So, I mean, so that stuff happened. So there was part of me where it started dragging on so long, I was like, oh shit. Like, is she going to be crying and then all of a sudden the lights are going to like, dunk, gunk. You know what I mean? Like, get the Fiend back and like drag her down to hell or some shit. Like,
I was
just dragging on forever.
that as well. Like,
yeah,
this would be a great spot for the Fiend right now.
Oh yeah, it'd be so good.
And
but yeah, I don't know why it had to be Charlotte. I think that Alexa did awesome, and I mean, she can enjoy her time off, and I'm excited to see what she does when she comes back. She's the next level performer for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, real quick. Like 2 years ago, those words wouldn't have come out of your mouth.
No, not at all.
She's like, you looked at her as a one-trick pony. Like, she's just on because she's cute. And I think she's gained a lot of people's respect, including yours.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I think she's putting that work, and I think it's becoming clear.
Yeah, and at the same time, she deserves better than this. And like I said, I think it's just Charlotte saying, "Hey, I want to take that spot. I should do that." It doesn't make sense.
It feels
but
like it. Just because even if Alexa was like, "Look, I just need to drop this gimmick. It's too closely tied to the Fiend."
Mhm.
I don't know why you would have it be Charlotte other than to just bolster Charlotte one more time with this whole like, well, it scared the shit out of everybody else and it gave her powers to freak out everyone else, but you can't get one over on Charlotte. Fucking why?
Yeah. But dude, you said Shayna. Like,
let
think
Shayna
about
get
if
revenge.
Think about if Doudrop did it. They had their own.
Mm-hmm. That's
I'm
true.
not saying because Doudrop's supposed to be the face. But even Marie, say she did it. Because as of now, once again, even Marie's just a valet.
Mm-hmm.
And if she did it, like holy shit, she killed Alexa's character. Like there's so many more people that could have benefited from it than Charlotte being like a fucking frat boy, just a notch on his bedpost. Yeah, I did that. Cool.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah. Let's see. We have United States Championship match: Damian Priest, Sheamus, and Jeff Hardy. I mean, I like the match overall. There was some like sloppy stuff that had happened, and a few things that were not quite clicking. But overall, these are three good fucking wrestlers who work stiff, and it looked sloppy like a fight can look sloppy. It didn't look sloppy like people who don't know what they're doing. That's not to say there weren't missteps, but they were also well covered for the most part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. This is. I wore my Jeff Hardy shirt. I love me some Jeff, but
boy,
you hear about the. I don't know what they call it, but the test. Like, hey, we'll put you out there. If the crowd likes you, we'll run with it. Yeah. Dude, the crowd was 110% behind Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, they were.
And if it wasn't for
the crowd was awesome. But let's finish talking about this. I want to circle back real quick to something else the crowd did just a segment ago. But, all right. Yeah, the crowd was 100% behind Jeff Hardy, and it was fantastic.
Dude, like 110, but continue.
No, the crowd was great. And in the segment before, when Alexa's in the ring holding the fucking innards of Lily and stuff, the crowd started chanting, "Thank you, Lily."
Oh, yeah. That was great. That was so great.
It was so good.
You hear about people, or WWE, I guess, controlling the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll throw, a worker out there and say, hey, start chanting this. And let people chant it with you. To me, that was one of those moments where I was like, I don't think it was scripted. I don't think this was in the cards.
Nope.
And they were saying, thank you, Lily. And I was like, I thought the same thing. I was like, holy shit. Like, this means something to the crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. And it just also is one of those things like throw it in the faces of some of these assholes who report online that this is bad, this isn't working, this is terrible, regardless of the fact that it sells and the crowd's into it. Like there's two separate things happening there. I have not liked a single thing Johnny Gargano has done in probably 2 years. That doesn't mean I don't recognize that the crowd is into it and the fan base loves it. I just go, well, it's not for me. You know what I mean? But for people to sit there and say, it's not for me, therefore it's all around terrible, it needs to go and nobody likes it. No. I don't like it. I wish it would go, but a lot of people are loving it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
there's a difference.
We say that with a lot of things.
Yeah.
We're just giving our point of view out here because we're drunk assholes. But
that's what we do.
If you like it, great. Go with it. Run it. Enjoy it. But yeah, when they started chanting "Thank you, Lily," I was like, "That's cool,"
Yeah.
But going back to the United States title picture, where or the match, the crowd was so behind Jeff Hardy, where going into this match, if I had to put a bet down, I'd be like, "Yo, Damian Priest is gonna win," and I think I would say, Priest and Sheamus are going to be the ones to, carry the story along.
Yeah.
With Jeff there, the crowd was so behind them. It gave me a false, hope, if you will, that Jeff was going to win this. And there's a few times where I was in the moment. I'm like, go, and then, fuck, damn it! I thought Jeff had this, and I hope
there was definitely part of me that thought, oh shit, it's going to Jeff and Damien's moving on.
Mm-hmm.
There was part of me that thought that for sure.
And I attributed it 100% to the crowd.
Yes.
And I hope WWE looks at it and be like, yo, we're underutilizing Jeff a lot because the crowd's behind him. If you took a Twitter poll or whatever, I think most people would say, hey, I want Jeff to win this. And hopefully we do get another Jeff solid run for the title.
Yeah, I think Jeff has the crowd fans to do it, and he's got the ability to talk, and he's got the believability. I don't think there's a good reason why you wouldn't, other than the idea that, hey, let's be honest. Well, let's talk a little garbage. Let's talk a little bit trash real quick. Kenny Omega had an interview and said WWE's desperate, and that's why they bring back legends once a month. This is in retort to Goldberg making an appearance. But when you look at the roster, Goldberg shows up once every few months, does a little Goldberg thing. He wasn't even announced for the show. But you look at the roster and who's the champions and who's in the story, and I could see them not wanting to go towards Jeff because there is this big push towards this. I don't even want to say necessarily younger talent, but a new wave of talent. They're really kind of reshaping the face.
A new generation. I feel like we're getting out of the PG era and it's now to the something era. I feel like there's this bridge right now that we're in the middle of right at the moment.
Yeah.
But it's funny that Kenny Omega would say something like that because who's been the face of AEW for the past 2 years since they've been on TV?
Jericho?
Everyone, yeah. And you're like, really? So at this moment, WWE is going back to their legends when it, at the same time, still very storyline based.
Yeah.
If because that was the one thing that when Goldberg showed up on Raw, I wish he said, it's been a while, but Gage is okay, and now I'm focusing on this.
Yeah.
And if he would have said that, it would have fucking put Kenny Omega's foot in his mouth, similar to the way he runs.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, he did kind of say that. Goldberg did kind of say that.
He alluded to it, but it wasn't definitive.
Yeah.
But it's.
Well, my favorite thing was just the flat out irony that AEW has, in the past 6 months to a year, brought back Sting, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, Jake Roberts, Christian,
Jake
Big
the
Show,
Snake.
Mark Henry, Taz, Jake the Snake. They brought back CM Punk. You know what I mean?
Which
I mean, it's not to say these are bad moves. It's just to say, you are also relying on the nostalgia acts heavily. And if you looked at their poster for the New York ticket sales, when they're like, hey, we're going to New York, the poster had Daniel Bryan, Sting, Ruby Riott, and CM Punk.
Yeah.
No one from AEW was even on it. It was just those four. Which is also fine. Like I said, I'm not saying those are bad moves or not smart or even that I don't want to see them. But your company's doing the same thing, dude.
Yeah. But at the same time...
And more so.
Yeah. I just...
Look at your commentary desk. Your commentary desk... I mean, Mark Henry was just removed from it, but your commentary is Taz, JR. It was Mark Henry, Big Show, Tony Schiavone. Who's relying on nostalgia here?
Yeah.
I mean, we got Pat McAfee.
Yeah. I just hate the pot kettle calling the kettle black.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's why when I saw it, I was like, oh, people are going to get up in arms. But to me, it's just funny because it's just like, I hear what you're saying, but this week, the only legend we had was Jeff Hardy and Goldberg. Yeah. Everyone else we've had on here has been new talent of the last few years.
And truthfully to me, like, Jeff Hardy's a legend, and he's fucking amazing and awesome.
But he never stopped.
But at the same time, he's not in a legend spot like Sting is.
Correct. He's active.
Jeff Hardy's performing. Jeff Hardy's an active spot on the roster. Like,
yeah.
I don't think you can
and
sit there
John
and say,
Cena.
hey,
I mean, even John Cena, he was an active wrestler up until 2 years ago. So is he really that much of a legend? Is he that much of a nostalgia act?
Yeah.
He was an active guy for 15 years, and he's been inactive to minorly active in 2 years. Like, him showing up is not the biggest fucking stretch.
Yeah, I don't even want to say this is pettiness. It's just fucking throwing
He just wasn't thinking.
bullshit. Yeah, I was going to say, it's throwing out bullshit Facebook political facts, if you will.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, and it was just one of those things where he just wasn't thinking it through because it's like, pot kettle if nothing else. Dude, I also want to do this before we talk about the last two segments on Extreme Rules. Something occurred to me while I was watching Carmela versus Liv. They're both homegrown talent. They weren't indie wrestlers.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying this, and we're going to go through a couple of these because I was just saying it thinking about, like, the big fucking breaking news that everyone's so terrified about of how dare WWE say they're not going to be going for indie talent for a while. I mean, there's going to be stars who break through. That just is how it is. But they're not going to, like the last few years, they've been strictly looking for indie talent. They're just not doing it anymore. But if you look at this card, we had Carmela, Liv, both homegrown. You have the New Day. Big E's homegrown. Kofi, homegrown. I don't think Kofi was an indie wrestler at all.
I don't think so.
Bobby Lashley was not an indie wrestler. AJ Styles was. Almost is not. Look at your SmackDown championships. Usos and Street Profits. Usos was in the Houston one with Booker T for a little bit. So I would say that if you want. But outside of that one promotion being trained by Booker T, that was a wrestling school.
But to me, that's a stretch to say that they're indie talent because Booker T's he's saying, hey, our spots in WWE.
That's true too. And Booker T's teaching them the WWE way, and that's where they were. They didn't go other places. So Street Profits, both of them homegrown. Raw Women's Championship.
Mysterio.
We got Flair and Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dominic is homegrown. Rey Mysterio, he was in Mexico before he hit WCW.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I'm, just throwing it out there, not just on the card. Like, Dominic's 100% fucking WWE, and that's it.
Yeah. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss both.
Yeah. Anyways, go ahead. Yeah.
United States, Damian Priest was an indie guy. Sheamus was in Europe. He was an indie guy in Europe. And Jeff Hardy was a backyard wrestler, but he was started early in WWE.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a tough one. Because was he really doing... He was doing like some backyard stuff in their own little promotion. So I would say maybe. I would say... If someone wanted to say that he was...
To me, indies isn't just, I had a match at the VFW or whatever. It's, hey, I'm going here during this promotion. I'm going here during this promotion. I'm going here during this promotion. And Jeff Hardy did not do that. To me, Jeff Hardy's WWE homegrown. Yeah, he had his little backyard wrestling thing. But at the same time, when he was doing that, he was on SmackDown at, 18?
Yeah, Raw, like 16. They lied about their age.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So, I mean, I would say Damian Priest and Sheamus I would consider indie Jeff. I probably wouldn't. SmackDown Women's Championship, Bianca Belair, homegrown. Becky Lynch, I would say she's indie. I mean, she was 6 years in Europe doing stuff before she got injured and was out for 6 years, and then came back and went to WWE pretty promptly after that. But I would count the original 6 years.
But see, I wouldn't, because I wouldn't consider anything in Europe. Japan,
No, Europe
maybe.
count. Europe has a thing. I mean, that's where Finn Balor was for a long time. Finn Balor trained her.
Yeah. All
You know
right,
what I mean?
all
Like,
right.
I would count it.
I see
would
where you're
count.
coming from. Yeah. All right.
Universal Championship, Roman Reigns, football player turned WWE. Finn Balor, obviously indie guy for a long time, New Japan. And I know what you mean, like, are you an indie star or an indie wrestler? Those are different.
Yeah.
And Balor was an indie star, an indie darling. AJ, an indie darling. Absolute indie star. But that's what I would say with Usos if you wanted to say they were an indie wrestler because they were in the reality of wrestling before they got to WWE. I would say, okay, but I'm leaning on you with the argument that they were being trained by Booker T to get into WWE, and they did that. They didn't do the tour. They didn't go to Japan. They didn't go all over the place.
Like I said, if you're in one promotion and you put a show or two on in the VFWs or, the small things, that's not an indie star. To me, an indie star jumps from promotion to promotion, has gone to like 4 or 5 of them within a year. That's an indie star to me.
Well, that's what I was saying. There's also a difference in indie star and indie wrestler. I mean, if you
indie
were out
wrestler.
here... Because
Yeah,
there's
that's what I'm
a
saying,
couple
indie
guys I know out here who've been wrestling in Tucson for fucking 18 years. They've never wrestled much more out of Tucson and California. But if you take them to WWE NXT, they're going to have a hard time breaking habits because they've been doing it for 18 years here. They're an indie wrestler. They're just not indie stars.
Yeah.
They haven't gone to the big places. You know what I mean?
But look at, going back to Arizona, look at Hammerstone.
Oh, yeah.
He's
an indie
would
star.
you consider him? Yeah.
Yeah, he's indie, for sure.
No, he is. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, there's certain levels. And that's what I mean. Like, if you were in one promotion for a year or two, maybe 3 before getting into the big one, and you've been 15 years in WWE, then no. I don't consider you an indie wrestler on the way. But I was just thinking, because when I looked at this card, I was like, most of this card is homegrown athletes who they train to be wrestlers, and look at the level they're performing at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's all I'm trying to say. So I don't think that people need to freak the fuck out, because I think your Becky Lynch's or Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn's, they'll make their way in, because there's just some people that'll be undeniable. But I think they're done poaching the indie scene because it was just a failure, and AEW is doing it anyways. So why compete for the same pool?
Yeah, if you can get the same product from this avenue, why would you go to your competition's main pool and say, hey, we're also here?
Yeah. We do have a YouTube chatter over here. Sorry, producer is supposed to be watching that, but she fell asleep. Jeremiah does say, what a legend this guy
the norm.
is. Yeah, per the norm. Yeah, we put her to sleep. And then says, the Demon should have won. Ted DiBiase is from Arizona as well. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to get to Demon real quick here. Before we get there, Becky Lynch versus Bianca. I just thought this match was amazing. I didn't even mind that Sasha came in to fuck it all up. I'm excited we have that high caliber of a triple threat going on here. Becky looking nervous as shit about Sasha being back leads me to believe that we're going to get a storyline about how Becky screwed Sasha out of the SummerSlam match. But I don't know. We'll see how that goes. What did you think of this? Because I thought this match was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was good. I love how Becky was so nervous, like the little thumbs up, like
Yeah.
thank you, hi.
Yeah.
The only thing that got me with that is like I almost wanted a Becky and Sasha like cahoots.
Yes. That's what I was really hoping for.
Because I saw them and I was like, oh my god, yes.
Yes.
Like holy crap, great. This is yes, go.
Yeah.
And then
I thought we were on the
Sasha
cusp
turned-
of having heel Becky, heel Sasha, heel Bailey, and heel
Yeah.
Charlotte. And I was like, let's fucking go. Let's get these
Yeah.
wheels in motion. I was right there
Yeah.
with you.
right before Survivor Series.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, let's do it. The bitches versus the women. But,
Yeah.
yeah. I go back and forth with Sasha attacking Becky, but at the end of the day, Becky's the champion, and you know, Sasha needs a gun for that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's what we're gonna find out is that there's some bullshit between Becky and Sasha. But there was part of me that was like, they're really working a sympathetic string with Becky.
Yeah.
Becky's been,
But
as far as a heel goes, she's been doing a really good job, but she's done a few things here and there that's been very sympathetic, and I'm like, they're towing that line with her really well.
Yeah.
In the chat real quick too, Jeremiah says Sasha is awesome. The match was awesome. Yeah. And says Stephanie says hi, and our set looks awesome. Yeah, we're all kind of cured out right now. And he says heel Becky and Sasha, is that not what they are doing? Yeah, that's what they're doing, but they're not in cahoots.
Yeah.
Sasha attacked Becky, and we were just hoping they'd be in cahoots in some way. They would hug or something, and Sasha would raise Becky's hand like, fuck yeah, we did it, because getting them to team up, not even like as a tag team, but just as allies.
Yeah, but can you imagine? Oh, the internet would have fucking busted a nut if during that, instead of Becky giving the thumbs up, she gives the 4.
Yeah, before.
And then Sasha looks at her and gives the 4. Like, holy fuck, the internet would have fucking ended at that point.
And we could still get there, to be honest. I mean, this could just be the first thing where it's all like, hey, bitch, you screwed me out of my title, but, you know, whatever, here we are. You know what I mean? Like, we can still get there, but I was really hoping that's where we were at.
Yeah, but to me, I don't think you can play that line, because Becky was just doing, you know, staying in her lane. You know, Sasha
Well,
could
we don't
have
know that yet.
beat for whatever reason, but
That's what I mean. We don't know that yet. We don't know if Becky's the reason that Sasha couldn't compete. You know what I mean? Like, they could easily come out and be like, well, why was Becky there? How did Becky know? You know what I mean? Well, maybe because Becky set it all up.
Yeah, you can get there, but...
And then on the other side of them fighting it out, you could have them team up. We're just suckers for the 4 horsewomen, and we want to see them all together, at least one run at some point. And at what point do you do it?
Right before Survivor Series, when Becky puts up the 4 on this spot, and Sasha puts up the 4, and then later you have Sasha turning on Becky. Fine.
Oh, yeah.
But, damn it. You dropped the ball. You fumbled.
We can still get there. Bishop's in the chat saying cheers. Cheers to you, Bishop. We put you over earlier, so we're not going to put you over again. But we did have a buyback with Bishop. He's going to probably take your place next week because you're going to be out of town, right?
I sure hope so. Somebody's got to take my place.
So we're going to have Bishop in here to talk the draft, which is a shame because it's like one of your favorite things to talk.
It is. Like, fucking turkey season. Damn it.
Jeremiah does say, I want Edge to come out of the ring from inside the squared circle like Kane did that one time and smash Rollins.
Yeah, I mean,
like rip from under the ring, like a fucking hell ghoul. I want some more Brood shit. I loved that Brood shit.
Yeah, but you can't. I think we were brewed out at this point.
Yeah.
Because of where everyone else is at.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I do like what's going on there. And I loved all this stuff with Becky, Sasha, and Bianca. And I saw some people being really upset about it. And I was like, were you kidding me? Like, we've got a main event scene now with Sasha, Becky, and Bianca.
Yeah.
Like, we're not even talking about the mid-card of SmackDown right now, which, like you said, Naomi and Sonya, Liv and Carmela. You got Tony Storm fresh over there. You have Tegan and Shotzi. Like, you got a fucking stacked women's roster there that's just pining to get to the top. Like, we could have a lot of fucking good matches coming up. This is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And Bishop says, Kev, I don't feel your shoes. You feel mine just a lot more often. Oh, that's really funny, actually.
What's that? You're going to do a shoey next week?
He's doing shoeies. The main event, though, was Roman Reigns versus the Demon. You have, Jeremiah said that Demon should have won. You have your feelings about it. We've talked about it a little bit. And this is the first Extreme Rules match of the night of Extreme Rules. And we talked about it off air, but I think the biggest problem with this pay-per-view is it was misnamed. This should have been called anything else. SummerSlam Backlash. Call this thing Great Balls of Fire. Yeah. Great Balls of Fire, they dropped.
Yeah. Turn your head and cough. Pay-per-view.
Anything else, just not Extreme Rules.
Yeah, like because Raw was so
plug your nose and fuck it. The pay-per-view.
Desperate Friday night. Let's go.
Yeah, Coyote Ugly.
I mean they're not ugly, but just literally anything else. Starrcade, something. Like, if you threw out Starrcade there, WCW nostalgia, holy shit, cool, let's go. But to call it Extreme Rules with one stipulation match, like, because it wasn't a bad pay-per-view. It was not a bad pay-per-view. But when you named it Extreme Rules, and Marsh and I have talked about this before, where Extreme Rules and TLC are so fucking close together, excuse me, you don't know when they're switching lanes.
Yeah. And we even thought that the triple threat would end up Extreme Rules. We're like, well, it's a triple threat match. They're going to start using weapons. But they didn't. They stayed in their lane, like you said.
Yeah. Like, seriously, there's no DQ, no countouts. Fucking throw in a fucking kendo stick.
Yeah.
A bottle of Jameson. Let's go. Do something.
Yeah, 100%. But they just didn't. And so I think that
a
lot of people were really hung up on the fact that there was more Extreme Rules matches on Raw than there were on Extreme Rules.
No, Extreme Rules.
It was just a failure of naming.
Yeah, like, we've, like I said, we've talked about it before. Like, don't call it Extreme Rules. Call it anything else.
Yeah.
Just call it another, Bash at the Beach. Just something. But don't call it Extreme Rules and have one match. United Champions. Showcase your champions. Let's go. With this pay-per-view, like, there's so many avenues they could have taken. And to me, the pressure with AEW and, not necessarily saying AEW's on the level of WWE, but, if AEW did the same thing, we're like, hey, we're having a Hardcore Heaven pay-per-view, and there was one hardcore match, you'd be pissed.
Yeah. It was just a victim of the wrong name.
Yeah. But I think WWE's gotten so caught up in, hey, we're supposed to have this pay-per-view in this month, even though they flip-flop Hell in a Cell, because I think Hell in a Cell is supposed to be this month, but, they did it in July, June.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's supposed to be October. It's Hell in a Cell. But
yeah,
I think is what it was. Our problem is they usually were doing like Extreme Rules, Hell in a Cell, and then TLC. And it was like, what the fuck is going on? But the other problem I have with Extreme Rules is that they easily could have had more stipulation matches without any issue. Like Becky versus Bianca could have been an Iron Woman match. You know what I mean? Like, you had a 26-second match. Tell Becky you want to have a 30-minute match. You know what I mean? And that's it.
I want to go the distance with you. Let's go the full distance.
Yeah.
Who wins after that? Fine.
Damian Priest, Sheamus, and Jeff Hardy, make it a ladder match. You have a triple threat, just put it up in ladders. Yeah. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss could have been a playground match. Have all sorts of fucking weird shit around the ring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Especially
it was,
if this is Alexa taking a break. Like you said, put the stipulation. It's a playground match and go on from there. But if there's a TLC in December, because I think that's when TLC comes, like, I'm not going to be excited for it. As soon as you announce that, you guys drop the ball with Extreme Rules. And Marsh and I have already talked about Extreme Rules and TLC being so close together that they're basically one.
Yeah.
If you announce a TLC pay-per-view right now or in the next 2 weeks, I can give a shit less at this point.
Yeah.
Because Extreme Rules had one Extreme Rules match and no other stipulations. That's and like I said,
I know they wouldn't do
I'm
it,
not-
but I would have made Carmela and Liv a first blood match. Because I would have made it a ugly on the outside
something.
match.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
As much as they've been pushing that fucking angle, yeah.
Yeah.
First blood, first woman to turn ugly.
Yeah.
First blood, go. You know, and to have an entire pay-per-view called Extreme Rules and having one match that way, fucking horseshit.
Yeah. It was a
And-
total
and
failure of
it's
name. And like I said,
Yeah,
these are
it's-
just
it's-
us
it's-
running through real quick. Could you have added stipulation to these storylines? Absolutely.
Yeah,
There's
100%.
There's a bunch of them.
And it's not taking away from the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view in itself was solid. But as soon as you put it on the moniker Extreme Rules and have no Extreme Rules, that's bullshit. That's like saying, hey, we're going to have the Royal Rumble without the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, no rumbles. Only one-on-ones.
Yeah.
Let's see, real quick, hitting up the YouTube chat. Bishop says he got to run, so we'll cheers to Bishop. We'll see him down the road, I'm sure. He says
Bishop.
Carmela's not that. Jeremiah says Carmela's not that great. I don't know if Jeremiah saw the kickoff show with Liv versus Carmela, because I would watch that a little
Pretty
more
solid.
closely. That was pretty close to a perfect match. I'm not saying 5-star, but I'm saying there's no flaws. You know what I mean? Like, watch both of them do what they do. Like, I would, if you didn't
It's
see
like,
the kickoff,
I've
it's on
seen-
YouTube.
I've seen Meltzer's 5 stars, and this is probably better.
Yeah, no, this is better than some of the 5-star matches. I'm going to be honest with you. As much as I did like the Kenny Omega Daniel Bryan match in general, I thought the Liv Carmella was a better match. It's more exciting.
Yeah,
The finish wasn't as intense in that last minute, but yeah, I mean, it's there. I would say check out the YouTube kickoff show and find Liv versus Carmella and get back to me. Jeremiah does say Great Balls of Fire and have Jerry Lee Lewis song for the intro. They did it, dude. A couple years back, they had a Great Balls of Fire. That's why we said it as a reference to that, and they did use that song. It was insane and weird. And their logo was 2 balls
And
of fire
terrible.
with basically a shaft of fire coming off of it. It was insane.
Yeah. It looked like, remember the Fireball gum?
Yeah.
It looked like 2 little Fireball gums and with a shaft.
And then those were like under the G, and Great Balls of Fire was like shafted across this. It was insane. I couldn't believe they got away with it. Jeremiah said, I agree about the Extreme Rules for sure, and said only the Demon was with that super kendo stick was kind of extreme in that whole event. And that super kendo stick was so weird and awkward. He had a hard time even swinging it and stuff. And then he says, didn't
But
Big E
I
have a
like
cage
the
match
Super
on?
Kendo stick.
Did you like it?
I liked it because going into the match, you realize it was probably going to be a 3-on-1 with no disqualification. So if he pulls out this, super kendo stick, motherfuckers, I got you, +1. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I just think that with a kendo stick by itself, you can get more speed on it and you can do more damage. I felt like it slowed him down with his like you
Yeah,
don't want to bat
yeah.
this too heavy. But it was neat. I liked it at first, and as I was watching music, I was like, I don't think I like this as much as I did when he first pulled it out. But we've all been there.
Yeah, because
Like I
if you
said-
pull out too soon. Ugh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He said, didn't Big E have a cage match on Raw just after Extreme Rules? Yeah, not only did Big E have a cage match, but Sheamus and Damian Priest had a no DQ,
No DQ.
no count out match. Yeah, so it was a weapons match. They used a table and everything.
Yeah,
And
and
then
they
he
had
said-
more spots than Raw had more spots than Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, they
and
did.
I don't want to sit there and say, hey, you know, this is a makeup, but it felt like a makeup.
Yeah, it did. A little bit. And then he says, horse shit is an awesome metaphor and should be used more. Like, as in, that's fucking horse shit. Yeah, I believe that's one of your go-tos, is it not, Kev?
I love horse shit.
You're a big proponent of horse
everything.
shit.
I love horse shit. I will throw horse shit everywhere.
Yeah, you're all about it, man. As long as I've known you.
Yeah.
And he says,
Put my shit kickers on and throw the horse shit. Oh.
he says,
Game over.
flaming penis logo. Yeah, dude, the Great Balls of Fire logo was a flaming penis. It was insane.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as they put it up on screen, too, I remember looking at it and, like, texting you. I was like, did you see the logo? And you're like, yeah, dude, is that fucking cock and balls? I was like, that's what I thought, but I thought I have to be wrong. Like,
I was happy. I was like, yes.
yeah.
Yes. Throw those cock and balls out there.
Yeah, get it out there. So ultimately, the match is going all over the place. I think it's fucking fantastic. Fiend is doing a great job of no-selling some stuff, selling other stuff. Roman's no-selling some stuff, selling other stuff. Like, I thought they did a really good balance of both of them looking like just two behemoths, even though one dude's twice the size of the other one. They did a great job of making you forget that Finn Balor's smaller. Like, Finn Balor wrestles big, and it was great. But at one point, they're all kind of dead on the outside. The red light hits. The heartbeat starts. The demon starts throbbing. Boom, boom, boom.
Mm-hmm. No, he was dry humping the shit out of that man.
He was just wrecking the mat. And then he jumps up.
Bum.
He starts beating the shit out of everybody. He gets onto the top rope. And he slips on a banana peel. The whole thing falls to shit. He falls down, hurts his knee, twists his ankle, gets speared by Roman, and then gets the 1, 2, 3. Roman and Samoa Joe, the only two people to ever beat the Fiend. Or not the Fiend, the Demon. I thought the match was so good because that whole moment when the lights were red and it was playing his music, which also was, by the way, a little weird. Because at first the sound, I was like, okay, here we go. But as he kept doing stuff, his music was just playing. It was just his music. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It was a little weird, but for one, I'm always going to applaud them for trying something different and new.
Mm-hmm.
And that was as close to Thunderdome era stuff as we've gotten in front of a crowd in a while, which was really fun. But in that moment, when the lights were red and and Demon was going fucking berserk, I thought, fuck. Finn's going to do it.
Yeah.
And then I kept thinking something was going to happen, but yeah, I got lost in it. And I know that the moment that the ropes collapsed, that deflated feeling was just because my expectations had become so high. Because I thought, this is it. We're going to do it. Oh my God, I can't believe it. I had gotten fooled. I had gotten worked. And then when it all fell to shit and he slipped on a banana peel, it was deflating and everyone booed and it sucked because you got our hopes up. It doesn't mean it was necessarily bad, but our hopes were up. You know what I mean? We fell for it.
Yeah, but I feel like, I was invested, and it's not that I got deflated, but I didn't understand the spot.
Yeah.
Is where I'm at. You know, Finn Balor weighs 180 pounds. So you're going to tell me that, you know, we have big dudes going up there. And even when it happened, like, I was watching it, I was like, yo, he does not look sure-footed at all. And then the roast breakdown, you know, I would have preferred Heyman with a fucking chainsaw and been like, yeah, I fucking cut that rope.
Yeah.
This is my investment. This is my, you know, whatever. But to me, it was so underwhelming. Like, they didn't give an explanation of why the rope broke. You know, even if they just turned it around and said, holy shit, there was a malfunction in the ring. Fine, but it was literally just check your watch, look for your spot. All right, now you have to be upset.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think that SmackDown, I'm hoping that they work it into a story somewhere where Heyman throws a wrench out in the dumpster or something. Or I mean, with Kayla always snooping around, maybe Kayla will find something.
Yeah.
Because the Kayla Braxton and Paul Heyman story is so fucking good. But
All right, Kayla's, she's amazing.
I can't believe how much character she's able to have as a backstage announcer and interviewer. You know what I mean? Like, she's got so much character. It's fantastic.
100%.
She does a lot with a little. They give her, like, hey, you're only going to be given 2 lines, and you're just kind of meant to be here and sort of eavesdrop. And she does so much with it that she becomes almost a focus. And then now you're talking about the Heyman and Kayla story, but really, like, why? Like, they're just both that good. It's just fantastic. But what I'm saying is, I'm hoping on SmackDown something happens. Maybe she sneaks around. Maybe she goes, hey, Paul, I noticed this fucking wrench in the parking lot by your car when you pulled out. You know what I mean? Like something.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it is a little weird. But I did like a lot is that the ring broke. Roman rolls over. He crosses himself, the old Catholic cross, the head and the shoulders. He looks up to the sky and says, thank you. They do the whole we the ones, and he looks up to the sky. Roman really put over that he feels like it was an act of God that he won. That there was no way he was winning that without the assistance of a higher power. And I thought that put over the demon so huge. Because a lot of people were saying he ate a pin, he's destroyed. And I was like, well, Roman really made it seem like he felt lucky to be alive at the end of it. You know what I mean? Like, Roman did a lot to put over the demon, for sure.
100%, yeah.
Let's see real quick in the YouTube chat. Jeremiah says, the heartbeat was fucking badass. He should have ripped Roman's heart out of his chest, dude. That was so good. That'd been extreme as fuck. He goes Indiana Jones style, Temple of Doom. He goes, yeah, did the rope break on accident? I don't think it was planned. I'll tell you from like a in-story perspective, we don't know. From an out-of-story perspective, all 4 of the turnbuckles gave way in a way that they wouldn't typically give way, I don't think. And you kind of hear it like click. So I think it was the planned spot. It's what they wanted to put over the whole thing because they'd worked themselves in a position where the demon couldn't lose this one, but Roman had to win it. So they had to do something crazy, and that's what they put together, and I think it worked really well. I think it was fucking crazy. By the end of it, it was like, I can't believe it was a rope break. But when I thought about it, I had so much fun watching that match. That's what it's all about. You know what I mean? Are you still with me, Kev?
Yeah, I'm here.
But yeah, do you agree? Anything else?
No, I'm right behind you.
All right. So I'm excited to see what happens on SmackDown to see how that plays out. But as we got to Raw, we won't hit up every single segment, but we are going to hit some of the big stuff. It did open up. No promo. Did not open up with a promo.
Mm-hmm.
How cool was that? It went straight to a Big E versus Bobby Lashley match. And during that match, the Hurt Business comes out and just goes, yeah, we'll just be Hurt Business again.
We back, baby.
We back, bitches. And then the New Day comes out. Bunch of tomfoolery. The match ends in a DQ. Adam Pearce comes out, yells and screams, says, we're not doing this. Not in Cincinnati. And they put up a steel cage for the night. They're going to do a steel cage match, Big E versus Bobby Lashley. I thought this was an amazing way to showcase both Big E and Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, it was. You know, once again, with the Extreme Rules from 2 days ago.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just, hey, do your thing. Let him do his thing and showcase, baby.
Dude, Bobby made Big E. Big E's strong, there's no doubt about it, but Bobby made sure that Big E looked strong as fuck. And vice versa. They both look like two behemoths doing crazy shit, just throwing each other in ways that they do not get thrown much. It was insane. Even in the cage match. And I love the cage match even ended in the middle with a pinfall. You know what I mean? Because then the cage just becomes the weapon. It doesn't become the excuse. Because a lot of times they'll put them in a cage and just be like, oh, someone will just sneak out some way and win. A win is a win. But this was, no. The cage was a mean structure for us to fight in, and I beat you in the middle. Are you there?
Yeah. I'm still here. Let's do it.
So I was just talking about the steel cage. Are you in and out right now?
No, I'm here.
What'd you think of the cage match?
I mean, it was probably should have been on the night before, but it was what it was, and I thought both talents did what they were supposed to do, and it was great, and it should have been on the night before.
No, it could have been on the night before for sure. But yeah, I thought it was an amazing way to go ahead and showcase these guys in a way they didn't get showcased on the pay-per-view, and it really made Raw what it was. Outside of that, because there was a few things that happened on here that was really cool, but AJ versus Riddle, what'd you think of that one?
Oh, it was so great. Like, I love both dudes so much, and to me, it was, I don't want to say a spot fest, but it was like, hey, I can do this.
Yeah.
The song, like, oh, whatever you can do, I can do better type of thing. Like,
yeah.
That's what I felt here, and it was like pure gold. Loved it. Continue.
There was a few spots in the middle, like back to back, where it looked like that they started giving each other receipts for things until they were just like, all right. But dude, when I was watching this match, no one has a bad thing to say about AJ, and he's always talked about how good he is. I still think AJ's underrated.
Yes.
The fact that AJ isn't in the immediate conversation when people say who's the greatest wrestler in the world, and people go, oh, is it Daniel Bryan? Is it Kenny Omega? Roman's the best storyteller. Why is AJ not in that conversation immediately?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you can put AJ with a lump of shit and he'll make it shine.
It's going to make it so good. Let's see. We talked about, and I thought that match was incredible, just top to bottom. I ended up rewinding it, watching it again. Like I said, I watched it like 4 times, the Raw in general, and that was one where every time I started to miss part of it, I would like run back and put it back. It was just so good.
Mm-hmm.
Karrion Kross, I like what they're doing. Doudrop looked great in the Charlotte match. Did you notice that?
No, she looked real good. Like, for a minute there, I thought like Charlotte was putting over Doudrop, and I was like, yes, do it. But
yeah,
not so much.
Yeah, there was definitely a moment there where I thought, oh shit, are they going to give this to Doudrop and just really move with it? It's like we were saying before, Doudrop, we think, is what they were hoping to get with Nia.
Yes.
Yeah. But again, like you said before, if Charlotte doesn't want to do it, she doesn't seem to be wanting to do it, so she must really like Doudrop.
Yeah.
And then Shayna comes out and breaks Eva Marie's arm, so now we're there.
Yes, finally.
Yeah. That's what we've been asking for. Let's see real quick, too. Jeremiah does say, I know we talked about this Friday night, but it still didn't look planned. That's why it was probably so good with the rope breaking. He thinks the rope broke on accident. I mean, it's possible, but I think the way that it played out, I mean, if it did happen on accident, everyone involved did an amazing job of playing it off like they needed to.
Yeah.
And he says, AJ Riddle, what?
Yeah, go to the rope break. Like every time, because I rewatched it a couple times. Every time I see Finn go up there, like he's unsure of himself,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
he looks like the baby giraffe.
Oh, yeah.
He can't get his legs underneath him, and then all of a sudden it breaks, and you're like,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
But
he was really wobbly legged.
mhm.
Let's see. And he does say Riddle AJ was a fun one. I saw that match. Yeah, it was great. And then he says, I got to get the USA app so I can rewatch Raw. Yep. If you have Hulu, you can log into the Raw app with your Hulu and you're good.
Nice.
Reggie and Ricochet. I thought that was just fun. It was a fun thing. I thought it was a little early in the show, but I really liked it.
Mhm.
Apart from that, what do you think about them calling Keith Lee Bearcat Lee?
I don't know. It's so weird to me. And it's probably because where I'm at and not 100% behind him, because it seems like a college nickname.
So what it is he's taking the moniker off of Bearcat Wright, who is the first ever African American champion, the first black champion, world champion of any wrestling organization. Which I think is pretty cool, but they don't exactly explain that. So I could understand why some people are like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
But then once you read up on it, you go, oh, that's a really cool way to kind of give an homage. But it does seem, it's almost like if it was anyone else but Keith Lee, it would probably go a little smoother because they've had so many weird stop and goes with him and changes and tweaks with him.
Mhm.
That I think at this point we're all just getting nervous about what's happening with Keith Lee. You know what I mean? Kev?
Yes.
Do you think that part of it is just that it's Keith Lee and not someone else? We're just all getting nervous because, like, they changed his name, they changed his music, they changed his clothes. Like, everything changes with him that, as a fan base, we're starting to get, like, wobbly-legged about him. Like, oh, no. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
one more thing.
I don't want to say yes, and I don't want to say no at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I think it's great. But I think if he came in as Bearcat Lee, we would have a better standing. I think that there's a lot of apprehensive fans because of how many changes he's gone through in such a short time.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Jeremiah does say, I like it pays homage to older wrestlers. 100%. That's what I love about it. I think the apprehension is really less about the name and more about, oh no, Keith Lee again. Like, everyone just loves him so much and wants to support him that every time they tweak something else, we just, as a collective unit, just kind of go, oh no. Like, just let Keith Lee do something, you know?
Yeah.
Kevin, we'll wrap it up on this, though. The United States Championship match between Damian Priest and Sheamus. What'd you think of this one?
I mean, it was solid. It was great. Like, I liked it. I just wanted stipulations on the night before. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, this should have been Extreme Raw. This should have been Extreme Rules Raw. And the night before should have been Raw pay-per-view. It should have just been called Raw pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Imagine if they just called it main roster pay-per-view.
Sold.
Just like, look. Yeah, sold. Like, look, there's not a whole lot of gimmick about this one. It's just the main roster just doing their thing and just matches. We would have loved it. Kev, is there anything you think we're missing?
I don't think so.
I think we did all right. Let's see real quick here. Jeremiah says, what do you think of the Kevin Owen rumors that he may be going to AEW? Yeah, there's the rumor there, too, that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn's contracts are ending in the next 6 months to a year or so, and there's a good possibility to go to AEW. I wouldn't be surprised. What do you think, Kev?
I don't want to admit it, and, I don't want to see it. I wouldn't be surprised, but to me, if they feel underutilized in WWE now, like,
Yeah.
We'll see you in AEW. Good luck. Cheers to you.
I think. Well, yeah. I mean, Adam Cole's already just one of the bunch with the Elite. Like, I think they would have a lot of fun. I think it's just. I wouldn't be surprised because it is a lot of their friends, and they would be having a ton of fun, and they've already made their money, and they've had their one-on-one at WrestleMania, and that was always their dream. Like you, I would be a little heartbroken because I like them where they're at. But if they actually allowed Sammy and Kevin to specifically do exactly what they want the way they want in their storyline, potentially that could be great. But, I mean, we're hearing a lot of rumors about that stuff now, too, about that being a little less fluid than it used to be. So, who knows? But they're really good friends with the guys over at AEW, so I wouldn't be shocked at all. I would be bummed out because I like them on my WWE show. But I don't know. I don't understand contracts.
Huh?
Kev, it was a really good week in wrestling.
Yes, it was great. I loved it.
Yeah. I got like no complaints about all these shows. Like I said, I watched Raw like 3 times, maybe 4. Like it was just always on. Watched Extreme Rules like twice. Watched Smackdown twice. Like there's so much wrestling to watch every week, and I found myself watching it again because it was so good this week. Sometimes we drink because it's awful.
It was.
Sometimes we drink because we love it.
Yeah, we're drinking to celebrate.
Yeah, I was reading.
What the hell's that?
As producer, she's alive.
She woke up. Oh!
She is woke. She has risen.
Okay.
Welcome to Kraken.
Welcome to Kraken, the producer. Yeah. So, Kev, you're not going to be here for a couple weeks. This was your go-home show. I hope you had a banger of a time.
Oh, I'm trying to bang something.
Bang it.
I'm just kidding.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be here. I'm so pissed I'm gonna miss the draft.
Yeah, that's always a fun one because you, of everyone who I ever have on here, is the biggest fantasy booker. My favorite part is that 90% of your complaints about a show is that you would have booked it different, and not even that it was bad, just that you would have booked it better in your own mind. So draft is perfect for you because then you just go, oh my God, look at all the things we can do.
Stupid. All of you, stupid. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. But we're going to be back next week with Bishop from TW Takes podcast. We're going to be back the week after. You're unsure if you're going to be back that week, or are you pretty steady you're not going to be there that week?
I don't think I will be.
Okay. We're planning on you not being there.
There's a lot to go over. Yeah, there's a lot to go over.
But at least there's not a pay-per-view. So if you find yourself, we'll leave a spot open for you. We'll leave the light on, as they say. We'll leave a coaster out.
I don't know. When's Crown Jewel?
Oh, shit. I mean, but we've never covered Crown Jewel top to bottom. We've talked about the 2 matches that happened that people talk about. So,
but this is the year that shit's going to change.
There's a really good chance they do some big stuff with it because it is their first year back over there. Or they missed a whole year and all, and... Let's see, Crown Jewel, you got Goldberg.
Brock.
Oh, my God.
Mansoor. Ooh.
You got
Straight
Brock and Roman. It's going to be October 21st. So, yeah, it's after you're back. Or it's right when you're coming back. And then you're fucked.
Yeah. I don't know.
You might
we'll
be
see.
up 3 weeks. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But, guys... Thank you for coming through and having a drink with us, your drinking buddies. Thank you for purchasing your New Wave coffee, newwave.co, NOOWAVE.co, newwave.co. Promo code CHEERS for your New Wave coffee. We will be back tomorrow night where we're going to be talking about NXT and AEW. Not you. It's going to be me, Miss Amanda Jane, and Crybaby Clump. You're going to be gone for a while. But we'll be back tomorrow night for a brand new episode 1 right here in the dive bar of the IWC. Guys, that's last call.
Cheers.
Hey, Producer Lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support us or buy us a drink by following and putting the I in subscribe on Twitch. Or subscribe and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Cheers.
I would never have a drink with wrestling on the rocks.